the situation I told you about? Oh, afterwards, we'll. You, maybe Terry can stay, I'll see how much time we got. All right, we have a few copies of all. Well, good morning, everyone. I have 9 o'clock. Oh, are we on the air, Jen? So I'd like to welcome everyone to the February 3rd Airport Committee meeting. I'm Jim Van Dorn, Chairman of the Board, and I'm temporarily opening this meeting as this is a new legislative session for the commission, and we'll be reappointing chairmen of the committees. So with that, we'll go to the first order of business and have election of officers. And I would entertain a motion for the chairmanship, and I would make that motion that it be Commissioner Collins. Is there support? Support. I guess nobody's going to disagree with us. Should I appoint one other person or it has to be a commissioner? Well, we have a quorum. Okay, we have a quorum. Okay. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? One more call for nominations. Hearing none, I would move that we cast a unanimous vote for Commissioner Collins to be chair. All in favor signify by saying yes. 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 Opposed, no. Chairman Collins, take over.
Well, we have in the agenda a moment of silence followed by the pledge, so I would ask for a moment of silence. Thank you. Now for a pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Take the seats. I assume all members have had a chance to read the minutes of the previous meeting. If so, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
It's moved and I'll support. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there any additional business to be added to the agenda? Any additional business? Hearing none. Move to the REIL replacement presentation. This is Mr. Koleski here. Up to the podium, please. Is the microphone on? You see it?
It sounds like it.
You're good.
Okay. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. I just wanted to give a few details about the upcoming runway and identifier light replacement project and answer any questions that you may have. First off, my name is Jared Kovaleski with Mead and Hunt. I work with Stephanie Ward out of the same office, and we are your airfield consultant, engineers, planners, and we've been working with Lenawee County Airport since the early 2000s. Lenawee County Airport participates in what we call the Airport Improvement Program. It's an annual capital improvement program that is updated annually, and it's a cost-sharing program for capital improvements under the FAA's guidance, and it involves needs and conditions of the airport, FAA eligibility, and the funding that's available. There are several large projects that have been done out of the airport. Most recently, the rehab of runway 523 and taxiway Bravo out on the airfield. So these have all flowed through the same channels and under the same rules and regulations per FAA. What we're talking about today is the replacement of 2 runway and identifier lights. They're an existing airfield feature, and they've been picked as a priority on the list of potential projects through the capital improvement plan. That's a annual planning process that Thomas with the airport works with us to present to Michigan Department of Aeronautics and then to refine the planning and design and funding process to get projects done. A little bit different process with the RILE project has been the addition of the bipartisan infrastructure law funding or bill. The bill money is a finite limited program between fiscal years 2022 and 2026. This is FAA money that has been added to airport budgets and coffers for eligible programs. It's very similar to AIP. It runs in parallel, but it is kind of distinct. So similar, but different. And the funds have a progressive expiration date, starting with the oldest funds, which is fiscal year 2022. A lot of smaller airports in Michigan, general aviation airports like Lenawee County, have been saving up and trying to find the best use for the bill funds, including things that may take more money than one annual year. Right now, we find ourselves in a position where we would like to use the money for projects that fit the bill, no pun intended, and can be put together before a grant submittal deadline of March 1st to MDOT Aeronautics. Working with Thomas at Lenawee County, we picked the RILE project as one of the things that would fit in the program and could get designed and under grant for construction this summer. I can pause there if anybody has any questions about the background on that. Okay. So with the airfield projects that we participate in with airports like Lenawee County, there's a design phase and there's also a construction phase. We're involved in both, and design comes first. What the design phase in front of you that Thomas has brought to your attention has been done basically ahead of time with through the normal channels. The normal channels with the state of Michigan involve a sponsor contract, which is a promise to pay for the federal funding that you're going to receive, and then a transfer process to dedicate those funds. In order to meet the deadline and to ensure that we have contractor bids in time for the grant application deadline, we have worked ahead on that design to produce a set of plans and to have bidding documents to put on the street. So the design process is eligible, which means that it's all part of the program and will not have to be paid for permanently by the county, but it was done ahead of time in order to fast track that process. So that is a little bit of the background of the design contract that Thomas is in possession of today.
Thomas, would you care to explain to the committee what that project actually is? I know we've talked about it a little bit, but if you could explain the project in a little more detail.
Yeah, so at the end of our runway there, there's something called runway and identification lighting systems. So it's a flashing light that notifies pilots of the end of their runway that's coming forth. Over time, I mean, these lights have seen their useful life. We've repaired them multiple times, costing, a little bit more every time, replacing boards for the electrical circuits to replacing the lighting housings on them, the light bulbs. I mean, right now one is currently down just because they break so frequently. They are very old. So when I was talking to Jared, I believed that it was a great project to move forward with just because it was costing the county more money and more money and more money to continue to keep fixing. So that's why Jared's here today to present this, but that's what those are.
And do we know the cost associated with that?
So I believe it should be, isn't it 85,000 total?
Yeah, we are actually on the street with the plans. We've worked ahead a little bit for the benefit of the deadline with aeronautics. We're going to be opening bids on Wednesday. That'll be the actual important number. Right now, I am estimating that the entire project, not just the lights, but the mobilization of the contractor and all the incidental work will cost about $75,000 in construction. And then our construction administration fee, we're actually our owner's representative, we're out there at the same time. That's bundled with the construction. That's going to be about another 15,000. So the construction phase will be what amounts to about 90. I want to stress that we'll learn the actual number on Wednesday. Right now, that's my opinion of costs.
Yes.
And so today, it's actually broken into two phases. So today, Jared is here to talk to you about the process, but what we need is they have done a lot of work already, kind of without cost to us. And so my understanding is today, the construction, or excuse me, the planning phase, the planning and design phase is approximately $19,000. And then once these bids have gone out and they've come in and we know what the real cost is, that portion of the project will come back to you for approval. And all of these things are normally upfronted by the county and then reimbursed at a later time. And that's what would happen in this process too. Part of the reason for this to come to you so soon is, and I know Shannon was gonna work on this, but since I started talking, I guess I'll keep going. Is that we have a deadline of February 28th in order to spend down a certain amount of funding. Miss Stephanie Ward has been here previously in relationship to another project that we have going on at the airport. You will be hearing more about that portion of the project at Ways and Means next week in closed session. But we do have a need to spend down some of the $159,000 that we have allocated to us by February 28th. So the reason for this project is that we weren't sure whether we would be able to get all that funding spent down on the other project by that deadline. And we are not going to be able to based on the information that we're hearing. So substituting a portion of this project in to expend down some of those costs by the end of February will allow us to take advantage of those funds and not lose them. So my understanding today is that we would like to have a recommendation to authorize the design and the design fee, design proposal of, and you said it was $19,000, correct? To move forward. We would then move that forward to the full board for authorization. And my understanding is that we would also at Ways and Means have that actual contract before us so that the board would have an opportunity to review that and then authorize the board chair to sign said agreement, which will help reimburse them for the costs that they have incurred to date.
Mr. Endor.
So even though I take it at one time, we had to approve the grant to do the grant to start with in order to accept these funds, right?
The project is what you're you're approving today, the design.
Yeah, I understand that, but prior to, you said this we have approximately how much, 150?
159 available, but it has to be utilized by the end of February or allocated by the end of
But
February.
at one time, did that have to be approved by the Board of Commissioners?
No, that is money that is automatically coming. We have money, that's 2022. So we have a number of years of bill funding available to us.
That just automatically?
It is automatically there. And if we do not take advantage of it, it will go away.
Okay, and so it does take our approval in order to move.
It takes our approval to be able to utilize the spend, to recommend to the FAA for that expenditure.
I would
Yes.
so move.
Support. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye?
Aye. Motion approved. Anything further?
No, thank you very much. I mean, I'm happy to take any other questions, but that's about the long and short of it for this.
No, I'd just like to say we really appreciate our relationship with your company. We're extremely pleased with Stephanie. She just does a tremendous job for us, and especially under the current conditions with what we're doing out there. Very professional organization, and you guys just do a great job. So thank you.
Well, thank you. We value the relationship with Lenawee County too.
Thank you much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on down to the next item is the manager's report.
Good morning, all.
Morning.
So February's manager's report consisted of kind of December and January. So there's a couple things enlisted on here. Equipment maintenance for those few months. Our New Holland tractor plow had started having some issues as soon as we hooked it up in late December. During the first plow of the season, we were kind of scrambling around trying to fix it. And we were unable to fix that. So we called Cobra Trucking. They're the place that fabricated the plows onto our tractors. And they came out and fixed the wiring and relay issues for a very minimal cost since we're such a valuable customer to them. And then we were able to finally get back up that tractor up and running. So we were able to clear the runway in time. So that worked out pretty well. Our lately, the past few weeks, our GMC pickup truck started showing signs of some sort of transmission issues. We've tried diagnosing it in-house with our scanners and our code readers, but unfortunately, we were not able to come up with anything. So we made an appointment to the dealership, and we hope to hear back from them late this week. Hopefully, it's not too costly of a fix, just because it's a 2014 truck that we keep pretty well, maintained, and it's only got like 50,000 miles on it. So we're hoping there's anything too serious going wrong with it. Our yearly aviation fuel filter changes have started. We hope to have those done by the end of the week. We completed those last week, and we're also waiting on one last certification from Sparling Corporation. We get our trucks and our fueling apparatus equipment serviced yearly. We also have them inspected yearly for calibrations. So we're just waiting to get our 100 low lead pump calibrated. So that is the last one on our list. Our grounds maintenance, we've been fortunate enough to not have too much snow this winter, so fingers crossed and knock on wood a little bit. We've had 2 major plows, and we've had a couple of call-ins on the weekends, like last week or yesterday. We had to come in and clear the runway just for a couple jets to land and a couple general aviation planes to land. So we were in and out of there in a few hours, so it wasn't too bad. The 2 sessions that we did have that were large sums of snow, they went pretty smoothly. We finished them in a timely manner, keeping planes able to fly in and out of the airport. Next, building repairs and projects. As the weather got colder, we prioritize our indoor projects to avoid dangerous temperature conditions and kind of having to suit up with all of our winter equipment. We decided to continue improving the airport buildings, and we've decided to swap all the light fixtures in the FBO, the flight school, and a maintenance shop across the street from fluorescent to LED lighting, ultimately saving the county some electrical money on the road. We found a massive rebate from our LED provider, and we were able to do this at a very cost-efficient manner. I believe 4-foot section LED lighting was, I want to say, $4 for one bulb. So we just decided to do all 3 buildings. So it'll be very cost-efficient in the end. We also decided to change out our exit signs with LED ones, in our maintenance shop, keeping up with OSHA safety standards, stuff like that. Our East Maintenance Building also had some issues with the heaters in the hangar shop. One unit has been fixed, and the other one, we're waiting on a couple parts. We got those in last week, so that'll be a project we're going to continue on through this week. And then our corporate hangar furnace also showed a couple issues of igniting. After a little bit of diagnosis, it was a couple parts that we had ordered, and I just ended up having Adrian Mechanical install them to make sure that unit was ready to go, and I also had them service it, so we won't have any problems in the future. And then previously, in the past couple weeks, a couple hangar roofs have began to start leaking, a couple drips onto airplanes. So we were able to fix one pretty easily with some Flex Seal on the roof. The other one might be a little bit more of a timely fix. So we're going to wait until, the weather kind of clears up. We're looking at like a couple 50-degree days coming up, hopefully. So we're going to, hopefully climb up on top of the roof there and fix a couple more leaks. And then We also had a couple electrical issues that we addressed with replacing some light switches, electrical boxes, and we also replaced a couple fuses for the hangar doors so they could operate properly. And then lastly, airport operation.
I was at the airport. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know why I thought I read that somewhere.
Not a problem.
I apologize.
Good. Lastly, for airport operations, unfortunately, Operation Good Cheer was unable to use the airfield again due to weather conditions. Gifts were sent by truck, but we will continue to remain hopeful for every year. And then lastly, our airport AWAS weather system was having a couple issues with calling into the frequency from the ground. Frontier was on the field, it seemed like for about a week straight, trying to fix all those phone line connection issues. And they finally were able to, I believe 2 weeks ago, they were able to get that service back up and running. So that's the end of my airport manager's report.
Questions of Thomas? Hearing none, we will move down to the finance reports.
Good morning. You will find your finance reports in your packet. You will see your revenue to date is 63,413.44, just above benchmark. And in turn, you will see your expenses are 18,719.63, below benchmark. You also see your net income currently is 44,000 and your cash on hand is 779,000. And just a reminder that cash on hand will be utilized for these projects that we've been discussing here today and in the future. If there's any questions, I will attempt to answer them.
Questions of the finance report? Hearing none, is there any other business to be brought to this committee? Any
Mr.
other business?
Mr. Chairman, one order of business
Yes, sir.
that, and it indirectly relates to the Airport Commission, but I've been reviewing the rules and appointments. As you know, I've been quite adamant about attending meetings, and that commissioners that attend a committee meeting or are appointed to a standing committee meeting should be paid. And we have a three per diem rule. So you can do one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one in the evening. So some members that are standing committee members of standing committees that have to attend 2 meetings, they only get paid for one, and they're actually making decisions for both the committees. So under the rules that we have for the county, right here under 4.54 and 9.23, the discretionary payment of those can be made by the chairman of the board. So as we progress through the year, if you're appointed to a standing committee, the chair will allow you to put that on your per diem and be paid for a per diem, so that people that are assigned to a standing committee will be paid for attending the standing committee and making those decisions.
Question.
Yes.
You're referring only to standing committees?
Yes.
So this would not be a standing committee?
Just, yeah, so just standing committee member. What was yours?
Well, what I'm saying is, for example, both Beth and I have a meeting now and one right after.
Meeting where?
We have a meeting here,
Yeah,
this one, and then the policy and procedure meeting
right,
following this.
right.
Are you saying that's 2 per diems?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Just standing committees though, Ms. Terry, not board appointments, not liaisons, because that could get pretty complicated. But you stop and think, you're appointed to a standing committee to make the decisions to refer on to Ways and Means and to the board. So, I think people should be paid for attending those meetings.
This would be brought up at Ways and Means?
I
Or you're
can't-
just going to approve?
Yeah, I'm just going to do it committee by committee. Yeah.
Gotcha. Any questions?
No questions.
All right. Is there any other business to be brought to the committee? Any other business? Hearing none, public comment. You are the public. Do you have anything you want to say? Okay, if there is no public comment, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Support,
Support.
any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign, motion carries.